Hello everyone, Bradley Sward here, and this solution here is for the 2022 Advent of Code Day 4 problem called Camp Cleanup. I had an interesting issue pop up with this one. Apparently I was testing strings against one another, not integer values when I was doing things, and when I went to post my part 1 solution, it told me that I was actually very unlucky because my answer was the correct answer for someone else's data set, and that was very strange. And it was like, I'm definitely not using someone else's data set. So then you start wondering, is there a bug in the problem or whatnot? So then I kind of redid everything. And I just kind of went through and I'm like, there is my problem. I was dealing with string tests and not integer tests. And still somehow I got that really threw me off. If it just told me it was wrong, I probably would have found it a lot sooner than telling me that weird error or the weird thing that popped up here. So you're basically just testing for every line that you see here. Are these values completely inside of the other set of values or vice versa? And so it gets a little tricky. And let me just show you my code real fast here. Let me find my. So here we go. So I'll show you part 1 and part 2 at the same time here just to kind of get you going. So here, this is my boilerplate code that gets me the data into a list of lists basically. And so for part 1, all I'm basically doing is setting up A and B and versus C and D, like the ranges, just to get those 4 values. And I'm testing A versus C and B versus D, and I'm testing otherwise C versus A or D versus B. And how do I get these? I got these by doing this. I wrote this out after a while because I'm like, I'm not going crazy. I think I know how to do subsets and subranges and things like that. So for part 1 here, you want to make sure that for an A, B, C, D here, you want either one of these 2 cases is the cases that work. So if I have to make sure that the C value is greater than or equal to the A range here, and the D is less than or equal to B. And then basically I'm just flipping the letters around because it could be either way. And I guess we could fix this up with mins and things like that. But you know, the point is to get a solution. And I could always fix it up if I wanted to. So these are the 2 ways to get there. And from this, you can see that is exactly what I wrote for these are exactly the 4 things I wrote for that part there. And that gets me the answer of 540, which is my answer to part 1. And then so for part 2, instead of looking for things that are fully contained within one another, you're just looking for any overrun here, or any time where a part of one range is inside of the other range at all. And so that one, coming back to looking at the logic here and the actual, and looking at the actual program, or did I close it? Do with it? Oh shoot! Oh no, it's right here. Photos here. So just to say here, it's this. So basically, either one of these 2 cases is a case where there is no overlap, right? So it's like so in this case, if B is less than C, or in this case here, if D is less than A, then those are the 2 cases that basically say that there is no overlap. But and if it's neither of these 2 cases, it's got to be one of these 2 cases. And this is where we get to use De Morgan's law, and I teach my assembly language students this when we do truth tables at some point during the first 4 or 5 weeks of the semester. And you can see here, if I want the reverse of this, because this tells me that, you know, this is basically either one of these 2 cases tells me there's no overlap. But if I want the case where there is overlap, it's the negative of this. And so basically De Morgan's law just basically says turn every or into an and turn every less than into a greater than equal, and every less than into a greater than equal. So that's how I get my logic there of B greater than or equal to C. And that's an and, D is greater than or equal to A. And when I do that, you see I get the solution of 872 for the same stuff here. And I think that pretty much calls it a day here. There's my 872 down below. So that's how I figured out this problem. If you have any comments, I always love to hear about it. This one took me a little longer than it should have. And mainly, I guess it's my own unluckiness on that part. But if you had the same experience or anything close to that, just let me know. Or let everybody else know too. So thanks for sticking it out with me as always. Have a great day. Have a great night, depending on when you're watching this. Looking forward to day 5 and looking forward to making another video for you guys tomorrow. Have a great one, everybody. Take care. See you then.